Okay, so again, wayang kulit performance of Indonesia is among the oldest and greatest storytelling traditions in the world. And Indonesians use puppet made crafted from fabric and kanang mga wooden to create puppet nga ilahang traditional performance of Indonesia. So next is the Indonesian culture. So one of the most amazing and it made me impressed of the culture of Indonesians are because of its renowned its cuisine and its for its diverse flavors and its variety dishes, with also rice as a staple. So same as in the Philippines, rice is also our staple food, right?
Yes.
So also in the Indonesia, we have commonalities with them that in every food that they eat, there's always a rice. First, we have is the nasi goreng. It's a popular dish in Indonesia and other Southeast Asian countries made by stir-frying rice with various ingredients like meat. So they call it nasi goreng, but in Philippines we call it fried rice. Simple words, it is fried rice. First na sila yung mga extra condiments and mga seasonings nga gi-add to spice up their nasi goreng. So next is the rendang. Rendang is a beef dish also popular in Indonesian cuisine, rich in spicy and herbal flavors indigenous to the Minangkabau region of West Sumatra, and one of the most famous representatives of Indonesian cuisine. So sa ato, this is what we call beef steak. Yes. Pero sa ilaha, spicy lang ilaha dito. Yes. So next is the Indonesian culture, of course. We have the Nyepe, or also known as the Bali Day of Silence. So the Nyepe is one of the most significant tradition in Indonesia, in which for 24 hours, the people there or the place is silent. For 24 hours. Imagine, no kanang music na madunggan, the street is shut down, the curtains of the hotels are closed, kanang silent because it is one of their traditions na ikuan nila ang mga, it's New Year in them. Celebrating the Nyepe is New Year. So ato di ba, ato mag-celebrate ta with firecrackers, magpakusog ta mga sounds, in them, mag-silent ilahang New Year for 24 hours. So before pa actually of this day, the night before this day is magsunog sila og kanang murag dako bitaw nga say tawagan na oy kanang murag bitaw siya kanang mascot nga dako kaayo nga with evil ang features, isunog na nila para masunog ang mga spirits kuno away, ng mga evil spirits away sa pa mahitabo ni. So next is the Turajan funeral. So I was amazed to learn the Turajan funeral because you will not believe that the Turajan people will live with the dead. Yes. Turajan people will live with the dead. This is the picture of kanang Turajan families having their kanang member na dead. Kana sila Turajan funeral in South Sulawesi is often called the land of death. The tungkunan or traditional Turajan house, which is kani na boat-shaped house, is where lifeless bodies are cared for months or decades or until the clan can afford a proper funeral. So, ang mahitaboan yung Turajan funeral is that the Turajan people, they don't believe that when a person dies is mamatay na gyud. So, after na mamatay ang ilang member, they will take good care of it as if like it's just sick and not dead. Ilang yung Tagalog, kanang kwanjud, like mura yung buhay pa siya, tagaan nila kanang mga favorite nila nga bagay, natabunan nila og kuan, mura ilang hinluan, and then Turajan people also are not afraid. They are not afraid of having a dead member na nasa ilang family. Now imagine ko na magtapad mo sa inyong kuan niya. For decades pa, magtapad for decades na ay kanang herbal ba na gitawag or kanang formalin. It was called formalin nga ibutang sa body sa kanang patay para ma-preserve ang buwan. And then after kanang di ba kita mag-save ta para mulambo atong kinabuhi. Mag-save sila for a biggest kanang extravagant nga celebration nga pang funeral jud. Murag dako ang ilahang kuan nga i-celebrate bitaw ang ilahang kanang dead nga member. Nya after kung mag-celebrate na sila kanang dako kayo nga celebration na ay mga slaughtering of buffaloes and other animals. And then kung isulod na siya, ready na siya for kuan, to part na, and isulod na siya sa kaning mga kuan. The next kanang, after pila ka decades, mag-celebrate na po sila, inya ikuha nila ang body balik. Kuha nila ang body balik ang coffin, inya kuha nila ang body, inya ilang ipa-stand, ilang hawiran, together with them nga, mag-celebrate jud sila nga as if buhay pa jud ang ilahang dead nga member. Yes, in Torajan, if you go to kanang Indonesia, especially in South Sulawesi, it is practiced there because they don't believe that if a member of a family, if it's dead, it's already dead. Dili. If you can watch the BBC news about the documentary of Torajan funeral, manimbaw to di mong balahibo kay there are kanang mga people jud nga ang mga naggibukog-bukog na ang ilang member na ako din sa ilang bay. Yes. Creepy. So, kuyaw no? Next, fun facts about Indonesia. So, Indonesia is home to the world's largest Muslim population, but it is also known for other religious mga religions. Because it is also rich in religious diversity. The country's national motto is Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, means unity in diversity. And Indonesia is also one of the most volcanic countries in the world with more than 130 active volcanoes. And as what I said earlier, the traditional puppet show known as Wayang is world famous. Let us move on to the Indonesian literature. So, literature in Indonesia is described as multicultural because of the great influence of its diverse ethnic groups. And its earliest form of literature is oral in nature and was also passed down from generation to another. So, when the Indonesians had acquired a writing system of their own, they wrote their literature on caves and branches of trees and leaves. So, as you have noticed, the literature of Indonesia is not widely known, right? Yes. Compared to the works from other countries. So, we have here Pujangga Lama, which is also known as literature of olden times, or which literally means old poets. And it refers to the traditional literature of Indonesia. This was primarily written before the 20th century. And it has said that also like oral tradition using traditional Malay language literature. So, ang original literature jud gigikan ang Indonesia is from Malay. And after before we proceed to the traditional forms, in the previous weeks, I have researched about what are the traditional literatures of the kanang Indonesia, and I haven't found one. And then earlier this morning, when I tried to search, na ako'y nakit-and, and kuha na lang, include na lang ito na ako sa ang narrative report, ang katong mga kanang traditional works. And also, basin ma-include po ito ni Miss Sosilio in report niya inside sa kanang kwan. So, these are the traditional forms of Indonesian literature. The Syar, which is the traditional narrative poetry. The Panton, which are quatrains made up of two seemingly disconnected couplets. And Kurindam, which are brief aphorism. Aphorism are kanang, these are sayings with expresses the general truth. Like for example, kanang bitaw may tao, kanang action speaks louder than words. That is an aphorism. An example of aphorism. Kanang an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Mo na siya. Then hikayat, these are stories, fairy tales, animal fables, and chronicles. And babag are the histories or chronicles of the traditional Indonesian literature. So to further discuss these traditional forms, we have Miss Wasil.